If your heart stopped beating right now, do you know where your soul would go? Not your body, not your possessions. I'm talking about the real you, the part of you that thinks, feels, remembers, the part that never dies. Most people avoid this question their entire lives, until it's too late. But the truth is, one day, maybe when you least expect it, your last breath will come. And in that moment, something happens that no machine can measure, no hospital can control. Eternity begins. This video isn't about fear. It's about clarity, not about guesswork, not about wishful thinking, but about the Bible and the living hope of the gospel. So let me be honest from the start. This is my personal reflection, formed from Scripture, from the testimony of believers around the world, and from years of walking with the one who gave us the promise of heaven. If it speaks to you, stay. Lean in. Listen with all your heart, because in the next few minutes we are going to spend what may be the most important 3 minutes of your eternal life. And here's the question I want you to ask as we begin. If you had only 3 minutes left, would you panic? Or would you feel at peace? Let's begin. You don't always know when it's your last breath. It doesn't arrive with a warning or a siren. There's no countdown, no alert. It just happens. One inhale, then stillness, a silence deeper than any you've ever known. The world around you continues. Cars honk, clocks tick, heart monitors beep. But you've stepped out. In that split second, something no science can define has occurred. The soul leaves the body. And here's the first thing that might surprise you. You're still you, fully conscious, fully aware. You haven't dissolved into nothingness. You haven't floated into some shapeless fog. You're more alive than you've ever been. The pain is gone. The weight you carried, stress, regret, fear, sickness, it's gone. You don't feel empty. You feel awake, as if everything before this was just rehearsal, as if your entire life you were living in a dream. And now you've finally woken up. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7 says, "The dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." That's what just happened. In a single breath, your body stopped. But your spirit was summoned. Not by force, not by accident. You were called back to the one who made you. And somehow you know it. You don't need a tour guide or a map. You're not floating aimlessly. You're not confused. You've left time, but you're not lost in it. There's no more heartbeat, no more lungs. And yet you're still thinking, still feeling, still being. And then, in that sacred stillness, someone, is near. You can't see him yet. But his presence fills the air like breath fills lungs. Not distant, not far away. He's closer than close, closer than thought, closer than breath itself. And the strangest thing is, you're not afraid, you don't flinch, you don't run. There's a peace that rushes in so deeply it's almost overwhelming. You've never known stillness like this. Not the stillness of nothingness, but the stillness of being fully held, fully known, fully loved. And then something happens that will take your breath away all over again. Not from fear, but from recognition. It's like your life replays before you, but not as some panicked flash of failure. No, you don't see your worst sins. You see his fingerprints. You see the nights he carried you, the prayers you whispered in the dark, the moments you should have died but didn't, the grace that followed you even when you didn't deserve it, even when you ran from it. You see the times you thought he was silent, but now you see he was there all along. And just as your heart begins to wonder, am I alone? You sense them. Not shadows, not silhouettes, but light, movement, power. You're not alone. two figures approach, not slowly, not hesitantly, but with divine intent. These aren't symbols, they're angels, beings of glory, assigned not because of your title or your talents, but because of your salvation. Luke chapter 16, verse 22 tells us, "The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side." Did you hear that? Carried. Not dragged, not pushed, carried, with dignity, with care, as if all of heaven paused for this moment, for you. And here's what's stunning. It feels familiar. You don't feel like a stranger. You're not being pulled away from earth. You're being drawn toward someone. There's no fear, no chaos, just a rhythm, a holy rhythm, as if the whole universe is in motion and you're finally in sync with it. You realize that everything you once thought mattered, the bank accounts, the arguments, the anxieties, stayed behind with your body. None of it followed you here. Only love, only presence, only Him. This is the first minute, and it's only the beginning. You've just left your body, and yet you've never felt more present, more you. Time no longer holds you. There's no more pain, no fear, no striving. Just peace. But it's not the peace of emptiness. It's the peace of being surrounded by something greater, something alive, and then you feel it. You're not alone. There's movement. Light, not in flashes or chaos, but steady, sure, radiant. You don't see shadows. You see forms, majestic, brilliant, holy. You're being approached, not by strangers, but by escorts, angels, sent for you, assigned to you, not because of your fame or fortune, not because of what you earned, but because of who you belong to. Luke chapter 16, verse 22 says, "The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side." That word matters. Carried, not sent off, not left to wander, but carried, gently, intentionally, as if heaven itself couldn't wait another second to bring you home. And as they draw near, you don't feel fear. You feel safe. In a way you've never known on earth. You're not watching this happen from afar. It's happening to you. Two heavenly figures glowing with glory hold you with perfect ease. Their hands don't grip, they embrace. Their strength doesn't intimidate, it calms. And though they say nothing, their presence tells you everything. You are known. You are chosen. You are protected. And you are not alone. It's strange. Earth is still there. You can sense it behind you. But it feels distant now, like a shadow you've stepped out of. The trophies, the bank accounts, the arguments, the anxiety, they're no longer yours to carry. None of it matters now. Not the promotion, not the number of likes, not the unfinished to-do list. All of that stayed with your last breath. And what matters now is not what you left, but who you're going to. The angels begin to move. You're not floating through fog. You're not drifting. You're being carried through realms. The air feels alive. The space around you is charged, as if glory itself hums in every direction. You're crossing atmospheres, not with friction, but with flow. It's as if your soul always knew this motion. It just forgot. You don't hear footsteps. You hear rhythm. Like music, but deeper. It moves through you, like a song you were born knowing but never heard until now. The angels move without effort. You are weightless, but not lost, anchored in something unseen, pulled forward by a presence your heart recognizes before your eyes ever could. And you begin to realize something beautiful. You were never meant to find heaven by yourself. Heaven came to find you. Let me pause here and ask you something. If, in that moment, you saw blinding light or felt the pull of something holy, would you believe it's an angel or just your brain? Some say near-death experiences are chemical, a shutdown sequence of the mind. But friend, a shutdown doesn't carry you. A brain doesn't whisper peace. And your own mind could never invent the overwhelming sense that you are being welcomed, not examined, not interrogated. Welcomed. Corrie 10. Boom, the Dutch Christian who helped rescue Jews during World War II, once described her father's final moment. He smiled and whispered, "I hear music." And then he was gone. Was it hallucination? Or was it the sound of heaven approaching? Other believers have described that same feeling, a sense of being lifted not downward into the grave, but upward, toward light. One Christian soldier, wounded in battle, later shared how he felt two glowing hands pulling him upward before doctors revived him. He said, "I didn't want to come back. I wasn't afraid anymore." It raises a question, doesn't it? If you saw light after death, would you doubt it or follow it? As for those who belong to Christ, they won't have to figure that out alone. Because the angels don't just wait for you. They come for you. They don't send instructions. They escort you. And as they carry you now, everything around you begins to change. The colors grow brighter. The light is growing warmer. It's not just bright. It's beautiful. Not harsh, but holy. And even though you haven't seen him yet, your soul is stirring, like a child coming home after a long journey, like a song reaching its final chord. You know, deep down, you're getting closer. And that's when it hits you. You were made for this. Not for comfort, not for applause, not even for legacy. You were made to be near him. This isn't a dream. It's not a symbol. It's not a theory. It's the beginning of your eternal reality. And you're not being dragged into it. You're being carried, welcomed, loved. Heaven doesn't feel foreign anymore. It feels like home. And then, it happens. No trumpet, no doorway, no voice announcing it. Just a moment, a shift. One breath, you're being carried through realms. The next, you've stepped into something entirely other. You've crossed the veil. Not a curtain you can see with your eyes, but one your soul instinctively feels. It's so thin you almost miss it, and yet so profound that once you pass through, nothing will ever be the same again. Suddenly, the atmosphere around you thickens, but not like humidity or pressure. No, it's weighty in the most glorious way, as if glory itself has mass, as if presence has substance. Every sense in you is now awake, not dulled, not suspended, activated. You're not floating through mist, you're walking into life. And it's not the life you knew on earth. This is something far greater. Colors are no longer limited to what the human eye could once register. Light doesn't just shine, it radiates. Sound doesn't just enter your ears, it sings through you. Even the air carries worship. Every molecule seems to echo his name, and it's not chaotic. It's not overwhelming. It's peaceful, structured, harmonious, holy. You instinctively know you've entered the land of the living. Everything old fades in an instant, not because you forgot, but because it no longer defines you. Earth feels like a rehearsal, a shadow. This is the real thing, the stage your soul was designed for. And somehow you're not overwhelmed. You're completed. The aching part of you, the part that never quite felt whole down there. It's healed now. Not bandaged, healed. The cracks, the scars, the doubts, gone. Nothing from the old world followed you here. No guilt, no shame, no pressure, nothing except love. Eternal love. God's love. The kind you never earned but always longed for. The kind that was chasing you your whole life. Even when you ran the other way, you begin to see. But not just with eyes. You know things here. You sense layout, design, majesty. You're not in some formless place. There's order, purpose, peace. You're not yet in the city, not yet at the throne, but you've stepped into glory's realm. You're in the outer court of eternity, and it's enough to bring you to your knees. Angels move with intention. Light dances without shadow. Every movement, every sound, every presence seems to echo the same truth. He is here. And then comes the music. Not performed, but alive. Not just heard, but received. It doesn't just fill your ears, it fills your being. It doesn't come from a stage. It rises from the space itself, from the light, from the saints, from the creatures of glory, from you. Without trying, without effort, your soul joins in. You don't need lyrics. You are the worship. You don't even realize you're singing, and yet you are, deeply, instinctively, because this isn't just a beautiful place. It's a holy place. You feel it in every fiber of your spirit. Except, you don't have fibers anymore. You don't even have a body in the way you used to. And yet you've never felt more yourself than you do now. No shame, no insecurity, no masks, just pure, unveiled identity. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply known, and somehow that's enough. And then the atmosphere begins to shift again. You don't see him, not yet, but every part of this realm does. The angels pause, the light grows warmer, the music lowers into reverent stillness, and you feel it in your spirit. He's coming, not a ruler on a throne in the distance, not a blinding power too far to reach. No, closer, nearer than your thoughts, closer than your breath. The veil is lifting, again, but this time, it's not between you and heaven. It's between you and the one heaven was made for. Your soul begins to tremble, not with fear, but with awe, with anticipation, with longing. This isn't just about being in heaven anymore. This is about meeting him. You haven't seen him yet, but everything around you has. The air, the angels, the atmosphere. They all know. Something is shifting, not in chaos, but in reverence. The kind of shift that silences everything inside you. The kind that makes light pause in worship and sound fall to its knees. This isn't fear, it's something far more overwhelming. Glory. The very essence of heaven begins to lean in. The light grows warmer. The music, once swirling with celebration, softens, slows, bends itself low. The air itself seems to bow. You feel it, like the air is kneeling in honor of someone approaching, and though you still haven't seen his face, your soul already knows. He's coming. This isn't just another being. This isn't an angel or a prophet. This is the one you've longed for your entire life. The one whose name you whispered in hospital rooms. The one you cried out to when you didn't think you could take another step. The one you doubted and loved and worshipped, sometimes all in the same breath. Now, he is near. You don't know how to prepare for this. No one can. Your soul begins to tremble, not from shame, not from guilt, but from glory. The kind of trembling that makes you want to both run to him and fall flat on your face. The kind that reaches every part of who you are and says, "This is the one I was made for." And then, you see him. Not fully, because his glory is too vast to take in all at once, but enough to make your entire being collapse in adoration. It's not like seeing a person. It's like your soul is finally seeing itself reflected in perfection. The moment your eyes meet his, even if only in part, you change. You're undone. His eyes, they are fire. Not the fire that destroys, but the fire that reveals, that purifies, that searches. And when they look at you, nothing false can remain. Every excuse, every defense, every mask you wore on earth, they melt. Not in shame, but in clarity. It's not a courtroom. It's not a trial. It's a moment of truth, wrapped in love. Because the truth is, he sees everything, and he still calls you beloved. You don't feel condemned. You feel known. You don't feel exposed. You feel cherished. Your knees hit the ground, not because you're forced to bow, but because your soul wants to, has to. You've never knelt this low, and never wanted to stand again. This is what surrender feels like, when it's wrapped in mercy. You remember now. This is the God you prayed to through tears. This is the voice that held you together when everything was falling apart. This is the shepherd who walked with you through every shadow. And now, face to face, it all makes sense. Revelation chapter 22 verse 4 says, "They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads." That moment, the one you wondered if it would ever come, this is it. And when you finally see him clearly, he's not a king riding on a chariot. He's not surrounded by armies. He's not far away. He's close, closer than breath, nearer than thought, and more beautiful than you ever dared believe. You don't just see a sovereign. You see a father. Not the kind who disappointed you, not the kind who abandoned you, but the kind who ran toward you when you were still covered in mud. You were never forgotten. You were never a mistake. You were never invisible. You were always his. And now, standing before him, you know that deeper than you've ever known anything. At this point, you don't even care about the city, not the crown, not even the reunion you hoped for. Not yet. Because this is the reward. Him. And though heaven holds infinite wonders still to show you, something inside your spirit whispers, if this was all there is, I'd still be satisfied. Because everything, every breath, every tear, every battle was building toward this moment. The moment you saw his face, there are no more questions. Not because someone explained them, but because your soul finally understands, instantly, not over time, not gradually, but in one single moment. The very moment you look into his eyes, everything shifts inside you. All the pain you carried, all the nights you laid awake, asking why, all the moments you begged for answers, they're still real, but they're no longer heavy. It's not that the memories disappear, it's that the meaning behind them suddenly unfolds, like a scroll being opened for the first time. You don't just see your story, you understand it. And what once looked like confusion now reveals perfect orchestration. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak, none of it was wasted. None of it was punishment. It was preparation, forming you, shaping you, drawing you closer to this moment, the moment when glory would not just be a promise, but your reality. The words of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12, come alive in your spirit. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. That then is now, that someday has become today, and you finally see what you couldn't see before. He never left. He was never absent. Even in the silence, he was working. And then you begin to see more, not just what happened to you, but what happened through you. The prayers you thought went unanswered? They moved mountains in someone else's story. The pain you thought broke you? It became the foundation of someone else's healing. The detour you hated? It led someone else to life. And suddenly you're overwhelmed, not by regret, but by honor. Because God didn't just let you into heaven, he welcomed you. Not because you were perfect, but because you were his. You start to see what he saw in you all along. You thought you were broken. He saw a vessel of glory. You thought your failures disqualified you. He saw repentance as worship. You thought you were weak. He saw your yes when it cost you everything. And now, for the first time ever, your soul is no longer haunted by the voices of critics or the echoes of shame. Those voices are gone, every lie silenced, every scar now shining. The only voice you hear is his, steady, kind, eternal, whispering, "See, I told you, I was working all things together for your good." And when that realization hits, you're not just relieved, you're undone, because this wasn't just a hope, this wasn't just a belief you clung to in the dark. It was real, all along, and now you'll never doubt it again. Not because someone told you, but because now you know. You are redeemed, you are beloved, you are home. You're still breathless from the glory, still trembling from the moment your soul met his eyes. And just as you begin to absorb what that meant, something stirs behind you. Movement, voices, and then laughter. Joyful shouting. Celebration. Not distant, not formal, personal. You turn. And what you see next takes your breath away all over again. They're running toward you, not angels, people, faces you recognize. Some you knew well on earth, loved ones, spiritual mentors, old friends. Others you never even realized were watching your life from heaven's perspective. But somehow, every single one of them knows who you are. Heaven knows your name. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 22 and 23 says, "You have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly, to the church of the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven." This isn't an introduction. This is a welcome. There's no awkward small talk, no fake smiles, no polite distance. These aren't strangers. This is family, eternal family, the kind you've always longed for. And the love in their faces, it's not based on what you achieved. They're not clapping for your career or your performance. They're rejoicing because you made it. And then someone steps forward, someone you didn't expect. Maybe it's a grandparent who prayed for you, a neighbor who once handed you a Bible, a teacher who whispered a quiet prayer over you when you were too young to notice, or maybe it's someone you never even met, but who was changed because of your obedience, your quiet faith, your hard yes, your secret generosity, your tears behind closed doors. The ones you thought no one saw, heaven saw. And now the reward isn't applause, it's legacy, eternal impact. You're hugged without hesitation, greeted without explanation, received without condition. It's not like Earth, where even the best relationships carried fragments of fear of being too much or not enough. Here, there's only love, pure, holy, without caution, without masks, and maybe, just maybe, for the first time in your life, you feel what you were always made for. You belong. You're not visiting. You're not crashing the party. You're not barely made it in. You are home. There's no shame on your shoulders, no awkward sense of not measuring up. Everyone here knows what it cost you to say yes to Jesus, and they're not applauding perfection. They're celebrating perseverance. You didn't quit. You held on. You ran the race. You finished. And heaven throws a party for people like that. Jesus once said in Luke chapter 15, verse 10, "There is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." And now, that joy, it's complete, it's personal, it's for you. You look around, and it all clicks. This isn't a dream, this isn't a second chance. This is fulfillment. This is the place your spirit's been searching for, even before you knew how to name it. You may have spent your whole life feeling like you never quite fit in, like something was always just a little off. But not anymore. Not here. Here, everything fits. Here, you fit. Not because you were flawless, not because you checked all the boxes, but because you were forgiven. And suddenly, you don't just feel welcome, you feel celebrated. Heaven doesn't just open its gates, heaven opens its arms. And as the joy continues to rise all around you, you realize something sacred. This is just the beginning. The celebration still echoes behind you. The joy, the voices, the faces you never thought you'd see again. They're all still there. But now something calls you forward. Not a sound, not a command, just a sense, a pull, a knowing. The moment has come. It's time to enter the city, and you know this isn't just a new location. It's not a new season. This is a threshold, the line between arrival and inheritance. You take your first step, and instantly, something inside you shifts. Your soul doesn't just move, it awakens. Every part of you that ever longed for more, every prayer you ever whispered, every ache for eternity that pulsed through your temporary life, now finds its answer. This is what you were made for. You're not stepping through rusted gates or worn doors. You're walking into a realm so alive, so radiant, that words feel too small to hold what your spirit is experiencing. The light here doesn't just shine, it pulses with purpose. The air doesn't just move, it worships. Every square inch of this place is saturated with peace, with joy, with presence. And yet, nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. You can feel it in your being. This city was not built for chaos. It was built for glory. Revelation chapter 21, verse 2 describes it. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. And now you're walking into that city. It's not gold-plated imagination. It's not metaphor. It's real. And not just real. It's home. The streets beneath your feet don't feel foreign. They feel familiar, like your soul had walked them long before your body ever drew breath. The buildings aren't made of concrete or steel. They radiate beauty, honor, holiness, and the colors. You've never seen these colors before. They aren't just shades. They're expressions. Every hue feels like it sings something true about the God who created it. There are no signs of death here, no hospitals, no funerals, no painkillers, no shadows of despair. Everything moves in rhythm. Everything is whole. The city pulses like a living thing, yet it's not overwhelming, because your spirit was designed to handle this kind of glory. You hear laughter, the kind that doesn't end in insecurity. You hear worship, not performed, but released. The kind of worship that's woven into every step, every breath, every fiber of the atmosphere. Children dance, saints rejoice, creatures of splendor fly in perfect motion, and above it all, one name is lifted. Not out of duty, not out of ritual, but out of sheer, overwhelming adoration. Jesus. And the closer you walk, the more it becomes undeniable. His presence is not just in this place. His presence is this place. The light doesn't come from a sun. It radiates from him. The peace isn't the absence of noise. It flows like a river from the throne of God himself. The joy doesn't rise and fall. It moves like music, steady, holy, eternal. Philippians chapter 3 verse 20 says, "Our citizenship is in heaven." And now, for the first time, you don't just believe it. You feel it. You know it. This isn't a vacation. You're not a tourist. You're not a guest. You are home. You are a citizen of the kingdom. And then something extraordinary happens. You see the home he prepared for you. You don't need directions. Somehow you know where it is, not because of your wealth, not because of your status, but because it was made for you. Every detail echoes his knowledge of your soul, your colors, your longings, your joys. You don't just enter a house. You walk into the fulfillment of every moment you ever trusted him in the dark. John chapter 14, verse 2 comes alive. I go to prepare a place for you. And now, here it is. Not grand because you were famous, not luxurious because you were perfect, but perfect because he crafted it for you. And standing there with the light on your face and eternity ahead of you, something deep within you whispers, this is it. This is why I was born. This is why I fought. This is why I didn't give up. And heaven answers, yes, welcome home. Everything else fades. The golden streets, the radiant walls, the music that swirled like wind, they all quiet now. Not because they're gone, but because he's here. And when he enters, nothing else competes. Not glory, not architecture, not even the joy of reunion. Because now, the Lamb is walking toward you, and he's not hurrying. He's not distracted. He's not addressing a crowd. He's walking straight toward you, and somehow with every step he takes, your soul remembers. Not just the stories you read in the Gospels, not just the songs you sang on Sundays, but the moments, the real ones, where he met you when no one else saw. The late-night prayers, the hospital bed whispers, the failures soaked in tears, and you begin to realize, this is not the first time you've encountered him. This is just the first time you've seen him with your eyes. His face, it's not just light, it's love. His eyes like fire, but not to burn, to purify, to search, to reveal. They look into you, not through you. And every fear you ever carried can't survive in that gaze. Every lie you ever believed falls to the floor. Every mask you ever wore disintegrates. You're not performing. You're not hiding. You're just seen. And he smiles. Not the kind of smile you fake for politeness. This one is deep, complete, full of eternity. And when he smiles, all of heaven smiles with him, because he is the center of it all. The angels know it. The saints know it. And now, face to face, you know it too. You drop to your knees, not from obligation, but because your soul has never bowed this low, and never wanted to rise again. You've never felt this much reverence, and never felt this much love at the same time. He says nothing yet, and still, somehow, you hear everything you ever needed to hear. And then, he speaks. Not to the crowd, not to the angels, not to heaven, to you. He says your name, and it breaks you, because the voice that calmed storms, the voice that cast out demons, the voice that created galaxies, just said your name. And in that moment, every wall inside you crumbles, every defense, every doubt, gone. Because the one who saved you, the one who suffered for you, the one you spent your life chasing, you were never chasing him. He was always coming for you. And then, the words, the ones your soul has longed to hear since the first day you believed, the ones you prayed for when you felt like giving up, the ones you rehearsed in your heart every time life broke you. Well done. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Matthew chapter 25, verse 23. He doesn't say it because you were perfect. He says it because you didn't let go. He doesn't say it because you never failed. He says it because you kept believing, you kept trusting. You stayed faithful in the dark. You held his hand when it hurt. You said yes when it cost you. And now, with those words echoing through eternity, you know that nothing else matters. Not the opinions of others, not the numbers in your bank account, not how loud the world cheered for you, because this is the only affirmation your soul was ever created to receive. And he's not finished. He steps closer. He lifts you up. You feel the scars in his hands, not as wounds, but as glory. You look into the eyes of the one who hung on the cross for you, who didn't have to die, but chose to. And now, in that moment, you finally understand what love truly is. You're not just saved, you're held. You're not just forgiven, you're wanted. You're not just welcomed, you're home. And everything in you knows, if there were no streets of gold, no mansions, no crowns, no choirs, if it were just this, just him, it would still be more than enough. Because this is the moment your eternity was built around, the moment you saw his face. And he called you by name. 3 minutes. That's all we walked through. Just 3 minutes beyond your final breath. And yet everything changed. Not because we imagined it, not because we made it up, but because Scripture has already revealed what the world tries so hard to ignore, that heaven is real, that eternity begins the moment time ends, and that your soul was always meant for more than this temporary world. So let me ask you now, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now, how are you living? What are you building your life on? Are you chasing what fades or living for what lasts? Because one day, sooner than you think, Your last breath will come. Your heart will stop. And in that instant, your spirit will rise. There will be no second chance, no pause button, no way to rewind. Only forward, only forever. And on that day, you will either see his face in joy or in judgment. The difference? It won't be your good works. It won't be your perfect church attendance. It won't be how moral you tried to be. It will be one name, one Savior, Jesus. Friend, if you don't know him yet, you can. Right now, this moment, wherever you are. You don't need a priest. You don't need a ceremony. You just need to surrender. Call on his name. Repent. Believe. Receive the gift he died to give you. He didn't come to condemn you. He came to save you. And if you know him, you don't have to be afraid of death anymore, because the one who conquered the grave is the same one who will carry you home. So live ready, live grateful, live bold, live holy, live as if eternity starts with your next breath, because it just might. And when that moment comes, may your ears hear those words your soul was made for. Well done. Let that be the prize you run toward. Let that be the reason you love, forgive, obey, and endure. Because eternity is not a theory. It's not a maybe. One day, this won't just be a story you listened to. It'll be the reality you step into. And when that day comes, I pray you're ready. If this message spoke to your heart, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel for more reflections that help you live with heaven in mind. Share this video with someone you love. Because maybe, just maybe, today is their 3 minutes. Until we meet again, live ready. Live surrendered. Live for heaven. Grace and peace to you.